Chosen one, listen carefully and open your heart. You are not watching this video by accident. Out of millions upon millions of videos scattered across the internet, somehow you were guided to stop here at this exact moment in time. This is not coincidence. This is a divine appointment. It means God is calling you right now, and He isn't calling you with a soft, gentle whisper. He is calling you with urgent warnings, with a prophetic word that can no longer be ignored. This world is overflowing with noise, temptations, and misleading paths that disguise themselves as light. Without clear discernment, without recognizing the true signs you are a chosen one, you can easily drift off course, losing your direction and your divine purpose. But if you pause and listen closely, if you truly open your spirit to this divine message, you will begin to understand. This is the moment to step fully into your divine mission, into the destiny that God's chosen ones are marked to fulfill. In the next few minutes, I will reveal 7 urgent warning signs, signs you absolutely cannot ignore, signs chosen ones experience before their spiritual awakening. If you disregard them, you may regret it deeply. But if you pay attention, your life will be transformed forever. These are not simply ideas. These are living signals from God, biblical mysteries unfolding before your eyes. If you feel this divine message is speaking directly to you, comment 444 below right now. By doing this, you affirm publicly that you have heard the calling of God's chosen ones, that you are responding to the rise of the chosen, stepping forward to claim your calling. Have you noticed something strange lately? You keep waking up in the middle of the night, often at the exact same hour. This is not an accident. This is the first urgent warning from God. The chosen one is often awakened when the world sleeps, because heaven is trying to speak. You wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., not because of noise, not because of a nightmare, but because of an invisible pull, a divine message calling you out of ordinary time. The same hour, over and over again. This is not random insomnia. This is not simple stress. This is an urgent prophetic word, a signal for those chosen by God. One of the first signs you are a chosen one preparing for spiritual awakening. Along with this nocturnal calling, you may begin to have strange and vivid dreams, the same images, the same whispers, appearing again and again like coded messages. These dreams are not imagination or coincidence. They are the language of God's signals, letting you know that you cannot keep living as you did before, that your life is shifting under the hand of God's chosen ones, divine favor. Then comes the restlessness. Your job, your relationships, even old pleasures you once craved no longer satisfy you. You feel a holy dissatisfaction, a deep stirring inside your spirit. This is not a normal crisis or burnout. This is God shaking your soul, moving you out of the old and into the new, pulling you toward your true purpose. But remember, every spiritual awakening comes with trials. When you recognize the calling, darkness will push back. Temptations, exhaustion, and mockery from others often appear to pull you down and make you doubt. This does not mean you're on the wrong path. On the contrary, this is proof you are important, that you are among the chosen ones, and the enemy wants to stop your rise. If you are experiencing an unexpected awakening, if you hear the call in the middle of the night, if you feel God's message today burning inside you, understand that this is the first sign you are a chosen one, a sign you cannot ignore, a prophetic word confirming your destiny. If you've been through this, comment "Y" below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time. Chosen one, have you noticed doors suddenly slamming shut in your life? This is not rejection, this is not failure, it is an urgent warning from God. There are moments when everything seems to be moving forward, when you feel momentum and hope, and then, without warning, a door slams shut right in front of you. A job opportunity that looked promising disappears overnight. A relationship you once trusted collapses in a way you never expected. A path you thought you could continue on suddenly comes to an end. And in those moments of confusion, you ask yourself with pain and doubt, why? What did I do wrong? Why is this happening to me? Why could? The truth is powerful and freeing. You did nothing wrong. This is not punishment. This is not failure. It is not even rejection. This is an urgent prophetic word, a divine message for the chosen ones. God himself is blocking what does not belong to you. These closed doors are not sent to destroy you, but to protect you from something that would have caused greater harm. What feels like loss is actually preservation. Remember this deeply. If you cling tightly to what God is removing, you will lose your way. You will remain stuck in cycles of frustration, trapped in toxic situations, or bound to relationships with the wrong people at the wrong time. Many times, what you thought was a blessing was never a blessing at all. It was a trap disguised by darkness. That is why God, in his mercy, has to shut the door. He closes it firmly so you will not continue down the wrong road. Closed doors are not random. They are warnings you cannot ignore. They are one of the clearest signs you are a chosen one, chosen by God for a higher calling. They are a signal that you are being redirected, that heaven is rearranging your path. You are no longer permitted to continue on the old road. And if you resist this realignment, the pain will grow heavier, the struggle will intensify. But if you choose to trust, if you lean on God's timing, you will see with clarity. Behind every door that shuts, there is another door waiting. A door wider, brighter, stronger, and perfectly aligned with your divine purpose. Take a moment to reflect on your own story. Look back at your past. How many times did rejection lead you to a greater opportunity? How many times did a closed door eventually protect you from heartbreak or disaster? How many times did you lose something you thought you needed, only to discover that loss freed you from something destructive? Those moments were not accidents. They were not random twists of fate. That was the direct hand of God moving in your life. That was the evidence of God's chosen one's divine favor, guiding you to where you truly belong. Chosen one, never mistake closed doors for failure. Do not misinterpret divine protection as punishment. These closed doors are both a warning and a shield. They are one of the prophetic signs you are a chosen one. Signs that God is calling you out of what was and into what will be. If you notice doors closing one after another in your life, understand this clearly. God is realigning your steps, preparing you for something greater, something you could not have reached without those doors shutting first. This is the second urgent sign, a sign you absolutely cannot ignore. Closed doors are not the end. They are the beginning of the rise of the chosen. If you've been through this, comment "Why" below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time. Chosen one, have you been seeing the same numbers, the same patterns, the same unmistakable signs, over and over again? This is not coincidence or chance. It is one of God's urgent warnings, a prophetic word sent to awaken you. Think about it. How many times have you looked at the clock and found it frozen at 11:11 again and again, as though heaven itself is trying to get your attention? How often have you suddenly noticed the number 444 appearing in unexpected places on receipts, license plates, addresses, even a piece of paper blowing across the street? Have you caught yourself hearing the exact same Bible verse, the same worship lyric, or the same words from completely different people on completely different days? This is not random noise. This is not your imagination. This is synchronicity-aligned events, carrying a divine message, a code written into the fabric of your everyday life. For God's chosen ones, these repeating signs are urgent warnings that God is calling for your attention, shaking you awake from spiritual sleep. Understand this clearly. God speaks in patterns. The creator of the universe communicates through symbols, numbers, and repeated experiences. When you see the same signal again and again, he is stirring your spirit, reminding you that you cannot keep ignoring his call. This is the sacred language of heaven, divine code sent to realign your steps and guide your decisions. For example, 444 is often linked to protection, angelic covering, and alignment. It signals that you are on the right path, but you must remain steadfast and disciplined. 111 reminds you of fresh beginnings, a new chapter, a spiritual awakening, a season of new opportunities. 777 represents divine completion, showing that you are nearing the fulfillment of your mission, the closing of one phase before the rise of another. Each number, each coincidence, each repeating message is not a casual event but a warning, a reminder that you can no longer delay your response to God's divine message. But be careful. If you dismiss these patterns as mere randomness, if you tell yourself it's just a coincidence, you will miss the message behind the sign. And when you miss the message, you also miss the guidance, the protection, and the favor that come with it. That is exactly what darkness wants to make you believe. Everything is chance. So you won't recognize the signs you are a chosen one, and you won't hear the true voice of God. This is the time to pause, listen deeply, and take note. When a sign appears repeatedly, treat it as God underlining his message to you, highlighting his words in bright colors so you cannot overlook them. He wants you to pay attention. He wants you to act. He wants you to align with your true path. Chosen one. Repeating coincidences are not random accidents. They are the third urgent sign, the evidence that heaven is at work in your life. If you are seeing these divine codes, these repeated signals all around you in numbers, in words, in songs, in encounters, understand that you are not allowed to ignore them. This is how God warns and realigns you on your journey, preparing you for your destiny as one of God's chosen ones. If you've seen repeating numbers or signs in your life, type Y in the comments right now. This is your confirmation that God is speaking to you, that you are chosen by God, and that your spiritual awakening has already begun. If you've been through this, comment Y below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time. Chosen one, do you feel an aching loneliness, even when you are surrounded by people? This deep sense of isolation is not abandonment. It is an urgent sign from God, a prophetic word meant to prepare you for your calling. Have you ever sat in a crowded room at work, at church, at a party, yet felt as if you were invisible, as if you didn't belong there at all? Have you had friends, family, colleagues close to you, smiling at you, speaking to you, yet, deep inside, still felt utterly alone and misunderstood? This is not random. This is not a flaw in you. This is extreme isolation, and it is one of the unmistakable signs you are a chosen one. For God's chosen ones, the Lord often allows seasons of separation and solitude, not to punish you, not to make you despair or feel forgotten, but to separate you from the noise of the world so you can hear his voice clearly, without distortion. In the roar of the crowd, in the endless chaos of society, the voice of God can easily be drowned out. That's why he places his chosen ones in seasons of solitude, so they can learn to recognize his voice above all others and receive his divine message directly. You may be abandoned by friends you once trusted, misunderstood by family members who can't see your journey, distanced from colleagues who no longer get you. You may feel as if no one is truly walking with you or sharing your burden. But in reality, this is not rejection, this is protection. Because if you're surrounded by people who don't belong on your journey, they will pull you off course, distract you from your spiritual awakening, and make you doubt the prophetic word already planted in your heart. Instead of listening to God, you'll be swayed by human opinions, expectations, and noise. This is a warning and a comfort at the same time. If you're experiencing deep isolation, understand that this is not abandonment. You are being prepared. God is creating sacred space around you so you can hear him. Discover your inner strength, develop your spiritual discernment, and learn how to stand firm alone before he brings the right people into your life. He is reshaping your inner world so you can carry the rise of the chosen with integrity. Seasons of isolation are also where you are refined and purified. When no one stands by you, you learn to lean on God more deeply. When no one listens, you learn to pray more honestly, to pour out your soul. When no one understands you, you learn to hold your faith without needing to prove it to anyone. It is in this isolation that you are shaped into the bearer of your divine mission, strengthened to deliver the message you were born to carry. Chosen one, if you feel utterly alone, do not fear. This is the fifth urgent sign, one of the clearest signs you are a chosen one called by God. Isolation is not abandonment, it is training. God is setting you apart, refining you, and preparing you for the role He has chosen for you. What feels like loneliness today will become strength, clarity, and divine favor tomorrow. If you've seen repeating numbers or signs in your life, type Y in the comments right now. This is your confirmation that God is speaking to you, that you are chosen by God, and that your spiritual awakening has already begun. If you've been through this, comment Y below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time. Chosen one, do you feel a deep, unshakable restlessness where you are right now? That unease in your spirit is not random, not meaningless. It is God urgently pushing you to transform, a prophetic word for His chosen ones. There are seasons in life when everything that once felt comfortable suddenly begins to feel too small, too heavy, too old. The job that once gave you stability now feels like a burden on your soul. Relationships that once felt safe and familiar now seem distant or even draining. Old habits and old pleasures that once entertained you no longer fit. You feel as if you're living inside a shirt that is far too tight. You can't breathe anymore. You can't stretch. You can't grow. This is not just discomfort. This is a divine message. This is the sign. God is urging you to change. This is not ordinary dissatisfaction or a midlife crisis. This is an urgent prophetic word that you can no longer delay. One of the clear signs you are a chosen one, being called by God's hand into something greater. You are being summoned to step into a new season, a new journey, a larger, more sacred mission that has been waiting for you. If you ignore this push, the feeling will not fade. It will only intensify. You will feel more drained, more suffocated, more restless. Life will begin to feel like a cage. Your spirit will feel stuck because you are no longer allowed to return to the old road. Once God has awakened you, once the spiritual awakening has begun, you cannot live as you did before. You are not meant to go back. These urgings may come as a whisper in your heart. It's time to move. They may appear in a recurring dream, a synchronicity, a divine code reminding you not to wait any longer. They may take the form of an unexpected event, forcing you to leave the place you've been clinging to. All of these are God's urgent push, His divine pressure moving you into the new, the rise of the chosen, the life He prepared before you were born. And yes, change is always frightening. Leaving your comfort zone has never been easy for any of God's chosen ones. But remember this: false safety will kill your mission. Staying where God has already left will drain your strength. Only when you dare to step out will you find true freedom. Only when you obey the call will you walk the exact path God has prepared for you, the path marked by divine favor and prophetic destiny. If you feel that restless push to leave the old behind and step into something new, type "Yai" in the comments right now. This is your declaration that you are ready to follow God's urgent call, ready to align with your mission as one of God's chosen ones. Chosen one, the restlessness in your spirit is not meaningless chaos. It is the sixth urgent sign, one of the unmistakable signs you are a chosen one. Do not ignore it. Do not cling to what has expired. Let God lead you into the new door He has opened, and you will see that everything you left behind was making space for what He is about to give you. If you've seen repeating numbers or signs in your life, type Y in the comments right now. This is your confirmation that God is speaking to you, that you are chosen by God, and that your spiritual awakening has already begun. If you've been through this, comment Y below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time. Chosen one. Have you noticed that in silence you hear God more clearly than ever before? When everything around you grows still, when the world seems to hold its breath, that silence itself becomes his urgent call, his prophetic word whispering to your soul. There are seasons in life when you desperately wait for an answer from God. You pray, you fast, you seek, you look for confirmation. And yet, all you seem to receive is silence. No signs in the sky, no dreams that speak clearly, no voice thundering from heaven. Only emptiness, a stillness so heavy it feels like abandonment. And in those moments of confusion, you begin to wonder, has God forgotten me? Has he left me behind? Am I no longer able to hear him as one of his chosen ones? But the truth is deeper than your fears. Silence is also a calling. Silence is a divine message. When God is silent, it is not because he has abandoned you. On the contrary, it is because he is inviting you closer, drawing you into deeper intimacy. The endless noise of the world, the constant busyness of people, the weight of expectations and fears, all of these can drown out his gentle voice. That is why sometimes he removes every other sound so that only silence remains. In that silence, you are left with no one to lean on, no distraction to run to, only him. And in that silence, something begins to shift. You start to notice what you once ignored. An old Bible verse, one you read 100 times, suddenly comes alive with fresh revelation. A forgotten memory surfaces, carrying a lesson you needed for today. A simple pause in prayer, a quiet moment of waiting, becomes the instant God touches your heart in ways words cannot describe. This is the sacred whisper of heaven. This is God speaking through what appears to be silence, yet is filled with his presence. Treat this silence carefully. It is not emptiness, it is preparation. It is a warning and an invitation all at once. When everything around you grows quiet, when no other answers seem to appear, that is the clear sign that God wants you to stop, to look within, to listen with your whole heart. He is teaching you that faith is not only built on dramatic signs or supernatural visions. True faith is built on trust, the kind of trust that holds steady even when there is no evidence, when there is no obvious confirmation, and it is within that silence that God equips you for what is coming. Before a new door swings open, there is always a pause. Before the chosen one steps into a greater mission, there is always a season of stillness, a calm before the breakthrough. That silence is not empty. It is sacred waiting. It is the holy pause where God's chosen ones are reshaped, their minds renewed, their spirits strengthened, so they can carry the divine calling with courage. Chosen one, if you are walking through a season of silence right now, do not think you have been forgotten. You have not been abandoned. This is the seventh urgent sign, one of the clearest signs you are a chosen one. When silence grows heavy, understand that God is speaking louder than ever. Listen closely, because in that silence, he is preparing you for your spiritual awakening, preparing you to rise as one of God's chosen ones, ready to step into your true mission. If you've seen repeating numbers or signs in your life, type Y in the comments right now. This is your confirmation that God is speaking to you, that you are chosen by God, and that your spiritual awakening has already begun. If you've been through this, comment Y below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time. Chosen one, you have just heard 7 urgent warnings, sacred signals you cannot ignore. Each of these signs is not a random event or a coincidence. Each one is a direct message from God, a prophetic word sent specifically for God's chosen ones in this very hour. You wake up in the middle of the night with repeating dreams and whispers that feel more real than anything in daylight. You see familiar doors slam shut unexpectedly, blocking paths you thought you were meant to take. You notice sacred numbers, divine codes, and holy signals appearing again and again in your daily life, on clocks, in songs, on license plates, in conversations. You face fierce resistance and strange obstacles right before your breakthrough, as though darkness is trying to hold you back. You feel so deeply alone it seems like you've been abandoned. Yet your spirit senses something greater is happening. You experience the urgent push that it's time to leave the old behind, to let go of expired seasons. And finally, you discover that even in silence, when no voice is heard, when no sign is obvious, God is still speaking louder than ever to your heart. All of these experiences are not disconnected pieces. They form one greater truth. God is calling you now. This is not a vague general idea. This is not a message for someone else out there. This is a divine message for you right here, right now, in this exact moment. If you are hearing it, if you feel it resonating deep in your soul, then you cannot continue living the same way. You are being summoned. You must rise up. You must step forward. You must fulfill the mission that was written on your life before you were even born, before time began. This is your spiritual awakening, your prophetic appointment. Do not fear these signs. Do not dismiss them as random. Do not ignore them. They are not designed to break you down, but to build you up. They are not meant to destroy you, but to confirm that you are truly one of God's chosen ones, chosen by God to carry His divine message in this generation. And this very moment, as you are listening to these words, is living proof that God still holds your life firmly in His hands, that His chosen one's divine favor is already at work around you. If this message confirmed something deep inside of you, type 777 in the comments right now. Let this be your public declaration that you accept God's calling in your life, that you recognize the signs you are a chosen one, and that you are ready to walk in your divine purpose. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and share this video so more people can hear this urgent prophetic word, this divine message for God's chosen ones. Together, we rise as the chosen, and together, we fulfill the mission heaven has placed on our lives. If you've seen repeating numbers or signs in your life, type Y in the comments right now. This is your confirmation that God is speaking to you, that you are chosen by God, and that your spiritual awakening has already begun. If you've been through this, comment Y below to confirm you've heard the voice of God, to declare you are chosen by God and ready to step into your calling. This is how the rise of the chosen begins, one response at a time.